everyone. Hello, hello. My name is Ryder Maven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipt podcast. I cover all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, JD, Roxanne, and poor Carlito. Um, Tonight will be titled "Don't Trip Chocolate Chip" due to Dom's witty line to Finn, which was hilarious, by the way. We are now back to tension within the Judgment Day after about a month's pause. So we had it good for a little bit. If you like Judgment Day, we had it good. They were family. And now we're back to tension started by the demented demon known as Finn Bálor. Um, this time, however, Dom is making moves and calling out Finn Bálor, the snake, out on his bullshit. Um, there is an added element here, however, that Finn might have alienated himself from the Judgment Day due to his actions, and I'm going to point out what he did later on. I thought we were going to go with Dom getting too big headed because hey, he has the Intercontinental Championship. He was going for the Megas Championship. I thought it was going to be something like Dom was getting too big headed, but now it's looking like it's going to be Finn just by his actions. And like I said, I noticed that storyline shift. It was going to go with Finn getting kicked out, then it was going to shift back to Dom and Liv getting kicked out. But now with Liv's injury, it looks like it's shifted back to Finn. And I think in this is probably the best way to go because you got to keep Dom looking smart and effective, and you can't do that if Dom is just going to fall for whatever Finn is doing. So, but here tonight they put into motion some clues that really indicate to me on how they're going to be pushing out Finn or getting Finn by himself because he made some missteps tonight. And with the announcement of Dom versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship next week, um, we might get a major storyline advancement with the Judgment Day, and I can almost predict a Judgment Day fracture. And I'll get into that. Essentially, it was pretty much Finn's plotting tonight and his actions tonight, which kicked off Judgment Day losing their matches, including his own. So we're going to get into all of that. But let's go ahead and get into Raw. Backstage, we had Dom, Finn, and JD walking. JD is walking out for his match. And then all of a sudden, you see Dom with his quick self take off to talk to a grande Americano. Now, Finn is like looking around, like wondering where Dom went. And then JD pointed out that he was talking to El Grande. And then when Finn was asking what was up, Dom says to Finn, "Don't trip, chocolate chip," and that he'll catch up later. Hilarious. Seriously. Like, where are you getting these quips, Dom? Like, don't trip, chocolate chip. Like, I wouldn't even think of that. Like, what the hell? But it was funny, and then Finn has to walk out with JD for his match because JD had his match coming up with Dragon Lee. Coming from this, it is obvious that Finn was curious about this thing that Dom has with El Grande Americano, and he doesn't like it. Dom was hilarious, like I said, with his line there. It's obvious that Dom is still making moves on his own, and I'm really happy that they're doing it. He's not sitting back. He's not being meek. He's taking action. Like I said a couple of shows ago, it is nice for Dom to take action. He's not being reactive to Finn. He's being active, and that's a good thing. You want Dom to be active after all these years of reactions and non-action. Like he's being active. He's taking things into his own hands. He's plotting. He's planning. This is good. I like this. I have no idea what he's talking about with El Grande Americano. It might come into play with AJ Styles in his match next week, but he is still shoring up that alliance. And then we get into JD McDonough versus Dragon Lee. Can I just say that JD's solo entrance is sick? I actually like his entrance. I'm not sure about the music, but I really like JD's entrance. Like you get the nice purple ace in the entranceway there, and you get his ace sign on his Tron. I like it. I'm not sure about the music, but I like his entrance. I think it's sick. Like it's a nice refresher. Like we have different interests. We got Roxanne's different entrants. We got Raquel's, Dom's, Finn's, and JD's, and I really like it. Just one second here. And so, and then during the match, when the match gets underway, Finn intentionally gets himself kicked out or tossed out by the ref. Um, this was obvious. I'm going to go into why I think he did this, but gets himself kicked out. During the match, Corey calls Dom the Judgment Day leader. I'm not sure if y'all heard this on the United States broadcast, but I heard this on the UK broadcast, and Corey straight up calls Dom the Judgment Day leader. This is a switch from them always calling Finn the Judgment Day leader, and they called Finn the Judgment Day leader all the way up until Mania a couple of weeks ago. So it's an obvious switch now with Corey. Dom is being called the leader. This was a great match. JD and Dragon Lee can hoop. They can show out, fight forever. I like their matchup styles. JD is kind of like Dom, where he's a really good base for Lucha because he's a high flyer himself. So you get some really good matches. You get some really good spots. I liked it. Dom. Oh, before that, JD got some hilarious chants at him, referencing his big head. Like, I cannot hold it against UK's crowd for having some ingenious chants because they were doing that towards JD throughout the match. Um, Dom comes out to assist JD as promised, like he said he was going to catch up. He does come out to assist JD, but gets chased off by AJ Styles, and then JD loses to Dragon Lee. Um, from this match, Finn's actions directly caused JD to lose, as he was not out there to help JD or Dom fend off AJ. Like, he didn't help JD win, and he didn't help Dom fend off AJ. So, he was not there. He caused JD to lose, and why he caused himself to get kicked out. I think he was trying to be nosy and see what Dom was doing, but he never did. He was never able to catch up with Dom. Um, This match set the tone of Judgment Day pretty much losing all their matches. It was first was JD, then was Roxanne, then was Finn. It's just like straight losses for the night for Judgment Day. It is real interesting that Judgment Day is Dom is being referenced as Judgment Day's leader. Like I said, they were referencing Finn as the leader up until Triple Mania and even last week, but now Dom is being called the Judgment Day leader. That is a huge switch. And you have AJ still coming around and harassing Dom, but Dom did what he was promised, like a leader's supposed to do. You know, Cole was all harping about where's Dom. Dom was out there. He said he was gonna catch up. He catched up. He wasn't like he went missing, and when he was missing for the entire match, he came back out. It was Finn, who supposedly be the leader or considers himself the leader, that had disappeared. And we're going to see how this compounds later. Um, Now we get into the clubhouse. Roxanne is prepping for her match, and she is nervous. Keep this in the back of your mind. JD is upset that he lost, and then JD complains to Dom about it, and then Finn tries to blame Dom about it, but Dom was like, "Hey, you weren't out there. You got yourself kicked." So they're kind of fighting, bickering back and forth. Raquel jumps in and says Liv wouldn't want this, so there's a Liv mention right there. And then Dom says maybe Finn can go and handle AJ. And then Finn goes like, fine, I can handle AJ by myself, and leaves. Roxanne was still prepping for the match when Finn leaves, and Raquel was hyping her up. Now, why is this important? Roxanne is obviously all nervous about her match. What has Finn been doing for Roxanne these past couple of weeks while she's been in Judgment Day, or months? Usually he has some sort of advice or saying something to her or indicating to her. Now, she was kind of acting on her own regarding Dom a couple of times, But usually it was Finn that was giving her advice, like the other week, like he was saying, like, "Hey, you need to go see what about the women's championship." Here, he didn't do that because he walked off to go handle AJ. And when I would initially watch this, I was like, how come it's kind of lingering on Raquel? Like, why couldn't they cut the backstage, the clubhouse promo off like when Finn leaves? Like, why are we lingering on Raquel? And yeah, they were having some technical difficulties, but that was usually one of those pre-taped segments where you can usually cut it, so it makes no difference for that to linger like it did. It wasn't like a live in arena shot like when we had Roxanne and Raquel later when they were getting interviewed. This is like a pre-tape promo segment. So Roxanne didn't get her advice from Finn, and JD didn't get help from Finn. You notice the pattern here? Um, Also, Finn trying to blame Dom for the loss is a choice because Dom stayed true to his word and came back out to help JD. Like I was saying earlier, like Dom was true to his word, he came back out to help JD. Finn didn't. He got himself intentionally ejected. And also, Finn is isolating himself by saying he can handle AJ, myself, or himself. This is different from Dom trying to prove himself. Like Dom earlier this year was like was all about proving himself. And that's completely different than saying I can handle it myself in the way Finn did it. So again, just keep that in the back of your mind on what Finn is doing in his actions tonight. And now we roll into Roxanne versus Rhea. Now, first and foremost, why are they trying to say that Roxanne and Rhea are rivals or arch rivals? They are not. Yeah, they can, they're in Judgment Day and Rhea has beef with Judgment Day, but they're not rivals. The rivals are Rhea and Liv and Rhea and Raquel, if you want to be honest. Like, why are we shoehorning Roxanne into this? Um, Poor Roxanne got a "You're a shit, You're a shit, Liv Morgan" chanted at her. I kind of feel sorry for her. Roxanne is growing on me a lot, and I really didn't like that chant at her. Like she's not Roxanne to this point has not done anything to imitate Liv Morgan. All she is just pretty much Raquel's tag team partner, and she's in Judgment Day. She hasn't really done anything to me at least, that indicates that she's trying to become Liv Morgan. So, and if they're trying to run this single white female or thing now, then it just feels really out of place and really jarring because because she hasn't been doing this. Like, why are we going into this? Why are we doing this now? Um, Now this could indicate that Liv might be on her way back, but still, this seems like this should have been set up a long time ago. Um, Match was good until Rhea riptides Roxanne to win, and then Raquel and Roxanne try to take out Rhea, which brings out Iyo Sky, and then Iyo Sky handle Roxanne and Raquel again. Now, I really, really hate that as soon as Raquel and Roxanne re-entered the Rhea Ripley vortex of suck, they get easily manhandled. Like, why are they getting manhandled like this? Raquel is fresh. She should have been able to do something to Rhea and something to Iyo, and then her and Roxanne could have did a strategic retreat or something like that where they kind of stand tall. But here they just get manhandled and they're clutching themselves and huddling together like they did last week. Like Raquel had been looking strong. She had been taking Kevin Nash's advice. She was coming into her own, but as soon as she gets to the Rhea Ripley vortex of suck, here we go with the manhandling. It should not be like that. Rhea is not that damn strong. There are plenty of strong women in the WWE. She shouldn't be handling these women like that, especially Raquel. Like, is she going to come around when Jordan Grace comes around? Is she going to be manhandling her? Is she going to be manhandling Lash Legend? All these other strong women. Is she just going to manhandle them when it is not she shouldn't be manhandling them? Yeah, she's strong, but she's a muscle mommy. She's not that dang strong. I think when I'm looking at Jordan Grace, she's stronger. When I'm looking at Lash Legend, she's stronger. When I'm looking at Zarya down there in NXT, I think she's stronger. They need to stop doing this. Like, not every time somebody gets around Rhea, they just get everything diminished around her, and I'm really sick of it, and I'm really tired of it. That shouldn't be happening. You're pretty much stymieing Raquel's growth and Roxanne's growth for Rhea. And they're not even involved with this silly Asuka, Iyo, Kairi, Rhea storyline. So they're pretty much sacrificial lambs for that story. They have no part of it. Like, at least if they were involved with the storyline, you could see it, but at least give them some wins. Like, give Raquel a win against Iyo. You gave Roxanne a win. Why can't you give Raquel? Keep that going so they could still be beefing, but at least Raquel and Roxanne could be getting some moral victories and actual victories to help them out. So when you actually flip the story back to Asuka and Kairi versus Rhea and Iyo, then they wouldn't be used like that. Like, the story is between Rhea and Iyo and Asuka and Kairi. You shouldn't be using Rhea and Raquel like that. I don't like that, especially if you're just gonna have them lose. Why couldn't Roxanne, even if you don't go with my theory of like Rhea, like Asuka spraying Roxanne to give Rhea DQ'd, at least give Roxanne, at least do a DQ finish where Roxanne is not getting the pin. Do a count out finish or something like that. Something. But we can't have that. Um Then we have Michael Hull saying that the Iyo Sky and Rhea storyline is like a soap opera. I mean, okay, we have Judgment Day. We've been complaining about Judgment Day's storyline for years now, almost a year now. That's the soap opera. Like, how are you gonna call this storyline that's only been going for maybe 1 or 2 months at the most a soap opera? Like, come on, Michael Cole. And like I said, Rhea and not Rhea, Roxanne and Raquel should not be involved with this storyline if the end game is going to be Iyo and Rhea versus the Kabuki Warriors. I don't like that. Like, what is the benefit for Roxanne and what is the benefit for Rhea? I mean, for Raquel. What is their benefit? They get nothing from this. I do have to say that I did like Asuka crashing out in the background when Rhea and Iyo were hugging. So I found that hilarious because you could see her in the background during that promo of Asuka just flipping her shit over that. But another little bit here is that Finn not giving Roxanne the advice here might come back to bite Finn because you left Roxanne pretty much getting another loss on her own. Now Raquel was there, but Raquel was there for Roxanne, but not Finn. So that's another little bit there. But going back to the whole Rhea thing, I'm like, I just had it up to here with that. Like, pull them out. Rhea. I mean, keep saying Rhea. Raquel and Roxanne already have their own storyline, kind of stymied with Liv not being there. They don't need to have Rhea's vortex dragging them down further. Like, have Raquel and Roxanne be doing something else in this particular moment right now. And then we roll into Finn versus AJ. There's not really much to say about this match. Um, we had Finn tease like his original entrance, his original audience participation entrance. The one where he's like raising his hands and the lights come up with it, and the crowd goes, oh, that entrance. He teased it, but he didn't do it. I'm taking that more as a sign that he's shifting back face because that's the face entrance for Finn Bálor on that one. He had a funny moment where he was too sweeting himself and then he was trying to get Michael Cole to do it. So that was kind of funny. He's like, Michael Cole's like, no, no thanks. Again, this match pretty much shows that they're not working together because AJ pretty much made work of Finn and Pinzone, so we get Finn Bálor again. It was just a decent match, regular, short. It is what it is. So nothing too much to say about that. Then we roll back into backstage. Dom, JD, and Finn roll up on Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce. And Dom demands that Adam Pearce takes care of AJ because he's been stalking him and preventing his wins and things like that. And Adam says he'll take care of it by having Dom versus AJ for the Intercontinental Championship next week on Raw in Paris. And when Scrap Daddy says this, we see Finn go into his demonic demon smile being obvious as fuck, and he smiles like a snake. Um, there's a couple of notes here. We all noticed Finn being a snake, but also noticed that JD was outraged on Dom's behalf too. Um, Dom calling Scrap Daddy Charles Xavier, like after Professor X from the X-Men, that was hilarious. Again, another great line by Dom there. This is again isolating Finn more and more because Finn is gonna do something. I don't know what. It's gonna be happening next week, but he's gonna do something. But at that particular moment, he's isolated himself from the group because um, when El Grande was around, when we go back all the way back to the beginning of Raw, JD pointed out El Grande, but he had no other reaction to him. You know, Finn was kind of upset about it and annoyed with El Grande and Dom talking to El Grande, but notice JD when he pointed out El Grande to Finn. Like he really didn't have no reaction either way. You remember a couple of weeks ago before Triple Mania that when Dom brought El Grande into the clubhouse that Finn's was saying um the rest of Judgment Day don't appreciate it, but we saw like JD and El Grande Americano playing darts. Think about that. Yeah, JD would probably be used to seeing El Grande around because Dom's been around El Grande. But if you were annoyed with El Grande Americano, wouldn't that be showing up a little bit more? JD is showing some real he's expecting him and he's really comfortable with him, or he's neutral on having him around. He's not taking the position of Finn, where Finn is saying like the rest of Judgment Day don't like him. He's not taking that position because, like I said, JD was playing darts with the man a couple of weeks ago. But here, like I said, here Finn is pretty much isolated himself from the group. He's trying to figure out what Dom is doing, which causes JD to lose. He doesn't give Roxanne advice, which causes her to lose, and then Raquel couldn't help Roxanne because they get run over. He loses to AJ, which in turn gives Dom makes Dom be in the Intercontinental Championship. But he's isolated himself from the group. He's calling himself myself. Everything looks like he's isolating. And like I said, I really think he's getting kicked. Because at this point, Dom leaving does nothing for him right now. Yeah, he can be on his own as the Intercontinental Championship, but we were expecting Liv to be along with him. And he can have the El Grande American Army, and I can see that. But if you kick Finn, you finally kick off that feud. Um, Finn is just going to have the problem of whatever happens with him, he's not going to get the necessary reaction, which is why I think they're going with face. He was teasing his original entrance, and it'll just be easier for him to go face. Will he get cheered over Dom? Nah, probably not. But he might be able to split a smart crowd, especially if he brings back his audience participation. So I think it's just easier for him to do that. He's already exhausted himself as a heel against Dom. And him going heel against Dom still won't give the necessary reaction there either. Um, Again, Dom is still making moves on his own. Um, he has El Grande, and I'm almost willing to bet he won't just have El Grande next week. Um, but so for coming up next week, since we're going to have the Intercontinental Championship match between AJ and Dom, what I'm betting. This is just early predictions. I'm still thinking Dom retains because if you're going to have the Dom Finn feud, he has to kind of have the title. Yeah, he can have the Megas Championship, but he kind of needs the Intercontinental title. I don't think they're going to do a title switch on Monday Night Raw. They could, and it has happened, but I don't really think so. Um, like I said, Finn needs. If you're going to have a Dom Finn with feud, you might as well just have Dom have the title because what's the point of this damn storyline if he's not going to have the title? They could have feuded months ago if they weren't going to have the title involved. Um, so next week we can have Dom versus AJ, and then you can have AJ. You can have El Grande Americano come in with AJ because they still have that beef. And then Finn could try to cost, but you can also have Dom have an additional somebody in his pocket. I'm saying Ilya Dragunov. Dom did say that he wanted a dragon. There's your dragon. If Liv wants to come back, that would be probably a spot for her too as well. But I doubt it. I'm not sure she's going to be coming back. I really doubt it. That's like a 10% chance right now. I'm willing to bet that we're getting other. I'm willing to bet that we are going to have somebody else in Dom's back pocket pop up to help Dom, and I'm really thinking it's Ilya because you can have Ilya come in. They said they wanted to run Ilya versus AJ. You could just have Ilya pop up to cost AJ, and there you go. And then you can get some immediate friction between Ilya and JD because they have beef from NXT UK, and that spins the whole Judgment Day thing again until Liv gets back, whenever she gets back. But that's what I would do. And yeah, Vikingo could pop up as well, but I'm not sure you're gonna want him to do that whole international flight just for that, especially since like in the next week or so they're gonna have Worlds Collide. So yeah, I really think Dom's retained. And again, AJ is still got AJ is the one having the momentum at this particular moment. Dom had it last week a little bit, but now it's like AJ, so it's flipped. Now I don't momentum doesn't work like it used to, but with the way AJ has been rolling, it looks like it's gonna flip and have Dom be winning because he's just been rolling too much. And that was Raw. Like I keep saying, Monday Night Raw flows better with Judgment Day is all over the show, and they were all over the show. We had multiple segments. I think it advanced the storyline in a meaningful way. We weren't just treading water. We got the tension back again. Like I said, Dom is making the moves. And Dom is not taking Finn's shit. And another thing with Finn, he's being way too obvious. That was always my complaint throughout this whole Judgment Day storyline when Finn was bringing in Roxanne and things like that with his grins. He's just being way, 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 way too obvious. At this particular moment, Dom would almost have to turn on Finn just because of that. Because if he doesn't, he just makes Dom look stupid. And we're not about to make the king of the luchadors look stupid. I wouldn't put it past Triple H because you know me, I gotta always allow for that 20% for Triple H's bullshit. But you can't. It doesn't make sense for Dom to be king of the luchadors presented like he is right now, and then still have him fall for Finn's trap. And especially now when Finn has pretty much indirectly caused a lot of the people's losses tonight. Like, who's to say next week, like, you'll get some little bits of, like, Roxanne saying, like, you were supposed to give me advice, JD is still mad about his loss, things like that. We could have that. And when I'm thinking, I still do think we could even have Finn get kicked out next week. That's the major storyline advancement. Kick him out, put him on ice for a little bit, then he can come back for either Survivor Series or something like that. Or just put him on ice to kind of reset his character until maybe Liv gets back, and then you can bring him back, and then you get the feud started again. Well, Dom is off doing some other things, doing some other side quests. With the kick out, I know people are going to hate me on this, but I would use Roxanne in this way. Not in the sense of a romantic sense. I would just have it where Roxanne is like the final linchpin on turning on Finn because she's figured out that she's being used by Finn. She was there for advice. He didn't get that advice. She's not winning like she's supposed to. She flips on Finn because that's the Judgment Day way of doing things, and he gets booted. Like, if you're going with the necessary sequence, Finn needs to get kicked out anyway.